Today I'm going to talk about how to get your family on board with decluttering. Hello, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. If you're new here, my name is Shannon and I would love it if you wanted to subscribe to my Simple Living community. I've had this question so many times on a lot of my videos, and that is, how do you get your family on board with decluttering? How do you get them to declutter their things? How do you get everyone else to declutter, especially if they don't want to? When I first started decluttering, I didn't really think much about my family or what they thought about decluttering or getting rid of things, because I just started decluttering my stuff. So I focused on all of my clothes. Personally, in our house, I'm in charge of the kitchen, so I focused on the kitchen and just all about myself, which is a little selfish, I guess, but it makes sense because I didn't feel right getting rid of everyone else's stuff. So I focused on what I could declutter in my closet. I had a really good look at our kitchen and thought about the appliances that we would never use, or maybe things that were broken, we were waiting to get fixed, and I just decluttered all of those items. I also looked through my tools. I have my own set of tools. I decluttered all of those items, and what happened was my husband started to notice that the house just looked a lot less cluttered. Of course, once the ball started rolling and my husband noticed how our house was looking way less cluttered, he started to realize that we did have a lot of extra items that we didn't need, and he was very on board with the whole process. So in no way did he tell me to stop decluttering or don't get rid of certain things. I think he's kind of a natural minimalist or a decluttered person. He doesn't really have a lot of stuff. He didn't really want me necessarily touching any of his things. My number one tip for getting your family on board with decluttering is to do it yourself, declutter your own items and whatever is yours in the house, and hopefully your family will notice how the house is functioning better, how much easier it is to get out the door when you're trying to go somewhere, how easy it is to find items because everything has a home and a place to live. And then by seeing the benefits of all the decluttering you're doing, hopefully they will be on board and want to get more organized and declutter some of their unneeded items. About 6 months into our decluttering journey, I did mention to my husband that I felt when I did his laundry that he had quite a few duplicate items as far as shirts and shorts, and would he be interested in having me help him go through his clothes. And I can link it down below. We did a man declutter is what I called it. He was happy that I was willing to go through everything with him. And as we were decluttering, even though he didn't really have a huge interest in it, at one point I think I took it over for him and he just said yes or no to getting rid of things. He's not really super into being organized or having a lot of stuff, so he was happy for me to help him go through things. And what's really, really interesting is when we've gone to other places that are quite cluttered, he will notice it, which he never did in the past. He will say, "Wow, I'm so happy that our house doesn't have too much stuff." He notices it where he never did before, so that just shows you that he is actually appreciating and liking the fact that our house is not as cluttered as it used to be. Another question I get a lot is, how do you declutter kids' items without your kids freaking out? And I have to say it's easier with having young children. My oldest is 5 and my youngest is 3. When I first started decluttering, they were not as aware as they are now of what they have. Go through items with them and say, look at how many cars you have. Are there a few that maybe you don't want anymore, that you don't play with, that we can give to another child? And most of the time, they're happy to go through things with me. If I find there's an item that they're never playing with, what I will do is I will hide it. I will put it in the garage or put it in a different area where they just don't see it. And then if they don't ask for it, over a certain amount of time, then I will donate it. And just in case you're feeling bad about decluttering your children's items, there has not been one time that either one of my boys has asked for something that I've decluttered. So it's one of those out of sight, out of mind situations. And I think if my kids were older and they were extremely opposed to getting rid of stuff, I wouldn't push it. But I might make a rule. One rule that I've set for our family is all of the toys have to fit in their room. So we're not going to have a whole bunch of toys stored outside of their bedroom, because to me that's just too much and I don't want to deal with it. I don't feel our whole house should be a kids' playroom. I'm happy to have as many toys as they want to keep organized in their room, but once it starts to trickle out because there's not enough room in their bedroom, then that is when I say we need to pick and choose what we're going to keep. One family area that we have is the garage, and we have all of our stuff combined into the garage, so it's not really my area or my husband's area or the children's area, it's everyone's shared space. So in that situation, what we tend to do is we will go in together, start organizing. What I have found is that as we're going through things and setting things on shelves and putting things away, it's just natural that my husband will start to say, oh, I don't need this, or this is broken. And it's kind of a natural process. I don't necessarily call it decluttering. It's just we're putting the garage together, we're organizing it, and the decluttering just becomes a natural process. I know everybody's different, and if you are dealing with a family member that just loves to hold on to stuff, then there's probably not too much you can do besides just to try to be an example by decluttering your own items, showing how efficient you can be by being decluttered, and then just let that sit with them, because the worst thing I found is try to force somebody to get rid of items that they don't want. I can use my mom as an example actually. And a lot of the times she would tell me, oh, I need that, I have to have that. There were times that she would tell me she was inspired by one of my decluttering videos that she watched, and I actually did a whole video of her being inspired. She went through her clothes and got rid of a whole bunch of things that she never wore. And so I think it just takes some people longer to realize that they need to declutter and get more organized. And I feel like it's better to give everyone their own time. For me, I took my time with decluttering. I did do the KonMari method in some areas of my house, but a lot of areas I would just pay close attention to what I was using, what I wasn't using, and as time went on, I would slowly get rid of things. I would just have a bin set aside that I would set things in as I knew I was not using them. As they're set aside, a few months have gone by, I know for sure I haven't used them, then I would declutter them. So I feel like it's best to just do what is comfortable for you when it comes to decluttering. So that's how I got my family on board with decluttering. If you're new here, you can join my Simple Living community by clicking the subscribe button. And also we have a vlogging channel if you want to check that out. I will link it below as well. Click here to see 10 lessons I learned from over a year of decluttering. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.